Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Zooming in on a viewer request to go over a little bit more in depth on how to identify the covert facade that they put forth into the world and then really better how to handle it. She shared with me a very poignant story, essentially the evolution and development of her relationship with this covert narcissist male who was very aloof, very sort of to himself in the balance of the relationship. And, really she had really carried quite a bit of the weight in the relationship. And he was present but not really present in many of the ways that one would expect and anticipate and hope a husband to be. Well, years on down the road, essentially she developed a health issue, and she learned many different things about his personality, namely that he was quite intelligent, he was quite verbal, all of which qualities that he did not really share with her, but really were shared with other people. So in essence, it was a deliberate withholding of really his personality and his gifts to her in the relationship. And she had discovered that he had been participating in a lot of emotional affairs, physical affairs, and really an ultimate betrayal. So really, what are some of the traits that one can identify with this covert narcissist, and how can you really deal with it so that you're not made a victim, so you're not played as a fool, so you don't suffer for years and then wondering, where's the good stuff? Why aren't we having this reciprocation and excitement and bond and adventure in our relationship that I know that you're capable of? So realize that the facade of the covert narcissist is one of deliberate withholding of information, emotions, opinions, knowledge, things of that nature. And so how this usually presents is, a very quiet person, very unassuming person, someone who is extremely aloof, not really available for a lot of open discourse and discussion, sharing of values, and really growing on that rich level. And so, and then essence, underneath is really a person who is cold and calculating, and really because of that is truly sort of unkind. Unkind, not in an outward showing of being unkind, but really it's more that they're withholding and they're not sharing and they're not extending themselves to you in a natural sort of empathetic way. Being that they're extremely self-interested and lacking in empathy, really the withholding of being present for you and inclusive and really kind of keeping another life or another personality inside or locked away, or that which they show to others, is really what is quite an eye-opener and what can be so hurtful. They are really giving do possess quite many different emotions and opinions which they share with others, yet you, as their most intimate really person in their life who can see the real them, they tend to, not share that with you and keep you essentially as a source of supply, providing a lot of the caregiving in the family, a lot of the caregiving and support for them in the relationship, and really sort of doing this in a very selfless manner, not expecting a lot in return. Essentially just having the spouse there is essentially reward enough when you're in this covert relationship. Yet, in your time of need, when you're sick, when you're not feeling well, when you are not, when you're really truly needing them, it's then when you really see the true colors of the covert narcissist. And they, in essence, really are not there. They're not there to verbally support you, they're not there to emotionally support you, and sometimes not even physically or financially. In fact, oftentimes, this is really where you begin to see the true colors or the exposure of the covert narcissist, when they really should be there, and it really becomes to make people very irate and very frustrated when they're not there for you in body, mind, or spirit in the way that they truly should. And so then that's what really brings about those discussions, that anger, and that conflict, and we begin to see the separation and divorce from a covert narcissist in this type of relationship. So before letting it get too far, realize that you should really experience more of a balance in a relationship. You should be able to have a two-way dialogue, a back and forth, a two-way street, if you will. And you should be able to experience really that person in a number of different settings so that you really know that they're not having an emotional affair, a physical affair. That you more or less demand, not in an aggressive way, but in a matter-of-fact, objective way and a natural way, that you should be able to share in these various other parts of their life with them, and that this is expected and required to develop trust. Because if you don't have that sort of kind of nakedness with your spouse, an emotional nakedness with them, if you're not able to be naked before them emotionally and then before you, then there becomes really a sort of gap or divide or a rift in the relationship. And this creates a really sort of unspoken distrust, a paranoia, and a suspicion, which over time can be very stressful and create a lot of issues, conflict consciousness, and it can really start to bear down into a physical breakdown as well. So if you notice these, please do pay attention. Please, take the helm and really bring these up to the covert narcissist, because you do deserve to have that open airway of communication and have things laid out on the table. And if they're not willing to, then you've got really serious issues, and you might want to look at really utilizing the tools here we discuss at Peace and Harmony to protect yourself so that you're not just left victimized, hurt, destroyed, and without, especially as one goes on into later life. Peace and Harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.